everybody. My name is Mark Gonzalez, and if you're listening to this tape or watching the tape, or for those people that are here in the studio, I'd like to welcome you to part one of a series of tapes on the power of seminar marketing. What we're going to be discussing and chatting with in this series is, first of all, the seminar business in a nutshell. When Dave asked me to put together a program on seminar marketing, I said, what a novel idea. This has been part of my life for about 8 years, but I've really never sat down and recorded how to do it. So I started looking in the library. Is there information out there on how to conduct a seminar? And yes, there is. But it just glosses over the seminar business, how to set up a room. And we've all probably heard of direct mail and different ways of running ads to get people in a room. But how many of those people who have written books have actually done it? Well, I'm excited because the seminar business is a billion-dollar business. And over the next couple of hours, you're going to learn specifically, starting with a little bit of money, how you can generate huge profits in the seminar business. Now, as I told you before, my name is Mark Gonzalez. Let me give you a little bit of an idea of my background. First of all, I haven't always been in the seminar business. It's only been a part of my life for about 8 years. Before that, I spent about 7 years with the U.S. Army Special Forces as an Army officer. Now, you might be thinking, what does a guy in the Army know about doing seminars? And I didn't know anything about doing seminars. I got out of the Army and went into corporate America. And as I went into corporate America, I found out that I was going to be limited by how much money I made. That, as I progressed up the corporate ladder, I became quite disenchanted with that. So I decided to start off on my own. And I said, what I really like is I like getting in front of a room and delivering information and training people. And so I looked out there and I said, who out there is the best of the best? And I was sitting there watching an infomercial, because that's what people do that have no life, by the way. Did anybody know that? I mean, I'm sitting there, doing the old remote clicker surf at about 2 a.m., and I see this guy that's about 6'4", big teeth, who's telling my story, how he was like, totally lost and trying to figure out what he was going to do with his life. Does anybody know who that guy is? Yeah, some of you said it, Tony Robbins, right? So I said, wow, this guy's on late night TV. He's selling books and tapes for $199 or 3 easy payments of $59.95 or whatever the deal was. And I said, you know what, I got to buy those tapes. And I bought the tapes. And, as the cliche phrase goes, they changed my life. I mean, I got motivated. I lost weight. My relationships got better and all that's kind of great stuff. But that's not really why I bought the tapes. Why I bought the tapes, ladies and gentlemen, is because I realized that this guy was doing what I wanted to do. And so I drove down. I was living in Vermont, where I still live today, and I drove down to Boston to go to a seminar. And I watched this gentleman persuade 1,500 people at once to do certain things, like stand up on their chairs and do silly things with their partner. And it was a sales training course. And I thought, what a novel idea. And after that course, after that particular one-day seminar, he said, for all of you people that are interested in getting into a business and making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year in a seminar business, I want to meet you in suite, number 206 at the Marriott down in Copley in Boston. And I said, he's talking to me. But the problem was there were 1,500 other people in that room. And I thought, I better hurry up and run or else I'm not going to get a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that there were 50 people in that room. 50. Now, why did only 50 show up when there were 1,500 that were going, rah, rah, yeah, I want to make more money? Because some people do and some people don't. Because many are called, but few are chosen. And I could give you a million of these cliches, but they all fit and they all work. And I was one of the 50 in there. Now, of course, when I went in there, I found out that what he was saying was, listen, if you want to be like me, give me $80,000 and I will sell you a franchise. There was a slight problem with that. I didn't have $80,000, but I had the desire. I really wanted to do this. So I scraped together what money I had, $40,000. Now, folks, is $40,000 a lot of money, yes or no? It's a lot of money when that's all you have, okay? And when all you have is what you spend, that's a lot. So I took the other $40,000 on a note, and I borrowed it, and I put $80,000 down and said, okay, I'm committed. Train me. I want to learn the seminar business. And that changed my life. That was folks, just so you know, that was in 1989. In 1990, the beginning of 1990, I started my career as a seminar promoter, as a seminar logistician, okay? From everything from the setup of the room to the actual closing table, from everything from the presentation. I did it all. I was the jack of all trades because I had no employees. So I was a one-man show. And I realized the hard lesson. In January of 1990, when I began my career as a seminar promoter, I was like, how do I get people to hear my message? And so you're looking at someone who's done a number of different things in the seminar business. I've run a telemarketing room. I've telemarketed, okay? I've done direct mail. I've done presentations to groups to get them to another seminar. I've sold them in a seminar. I've done back-end marketing in a seminar. I've coached people. I've consulted. I've done a number of things in the seminar business for the last 8 years. And I can tell you, not everything that I've touched has turned to gold. Some of the things I did were great. And I said, wow, I did those things. Those were pretty sharp. Some of those other things I was kind of embarrassed to admit that I tried or did. But what I want you to understand is, as Dave mentions, that I appreciate the accolade, I made an individual over the last couple of years $23 million from my lips. Now, granted, he had a great product. But what I want you to understand is the power of seminar marketing is getting a group of people in a room for a specified amount of time and delivering them a presentation that is well scripted and well rehearsed, that delivers a purpose and creates value, that gets them to make a decision. And that decision is they're going to part with their money in a period of 1 hour to 1 hour and a half to 3 hours to 3 days to a week, how long your seminar is. But the important thing is there is a relationship beginning. How many people would agree with the statement that relationships are everything in business? How many people would agree with that? Okay, most people in this room, obviously. Relationships are everything in business, and as we head towards the millennium, relationships are more important. And whether you develop that relationship on your website, whether you deliver that relationship over a direct mail piece or a wave mail piece that you send pieces to over and over and over again, whether you do it in a seminar format, what I want you to understand, folks, is that the relationship begins at the initial impression. When I first stood up here and he made a conversation about how we were going to go ahead and shoot this video, you all made a representation in your mind or impression of me and what this means and what I look like and what I do and what I say, and you're going to continue to make impressions throughout today. So what I want you to understand is a seminar is a phenomenal marketing tool, and depending on how you get them in the room, if you can make the numbers work, and we're going to get into that through this series, the numbers, how they work. It's a very lucrative business. It's a billion-dollar business. And as Dave told you, there's about 35 people that do what I do across the country. And I'm very excited. I'm first of all very privileged to be here with my friend Dave, and I'm excited for all of you here, because what you're going to have, first of all, is a product that can be sold over and over and over again, and it's very unique because there is no other product like this out there. For those of you that are watching or listening to this tape that want to become a seminar promoter, I'm excited because what you're going to get are secrets that I am willing to share because Dave told me I had to share them. That's what my contract says. But the important thing is I'm really not worried. See, you know what? Let me just tell you what I used to believe, and then I'll tell you why I'm sharing this. Because a lot of you might be listening to this or watching this and saying, why is this guy so so comfortable with sharing these? I mean, if you're making so much money, why are you up here sharing this information? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why. All right? Last year, I made about $650,000. Is that a lot of money, yes or no? That's a lot of money, okay? Now, I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm saying that to impress upon you. I made $650,000. The creator that I was selling stuff for made tens of millions of dollars, not only once, but he'll make them again and again and again and again. How many times am I going to make my $650,000? Once. So what I've learned from working with David is that, yeah, you've got to be able to create residual and a variety of forms of income. Just don't put all your eggs in one what? Basket. We've heard that over and over and over again, but still people start a business and they don't create multiple streams of income. I believe Robert Allen is the one that created a tape series on multiple streams of income. So we are living in the information age, unfortunately, folks. Very few people have understand how to capitalize on it. So I'm excited for all those reasons, because what we're going to be talking about is the power of seminar marketing, how to market, how to conduct seminars, how to fill the room, how the numbers work. And if you're looking at this and you're thinking about maybe creating a seminar, you'll say, well, you can scale down the numbers, you can increase the numbers, and it's going to all affect your bottom line, okay? So, and if you have questions, I just appreciate you write those down. For those of you that are watching this on video, there'll be a way for you to contact me at the end of this video or listen to me on audio. you'll be able to contact us at a later date to get some information. So first of all, seminars. Why would you conduct a seminar? Why would you conduct a seminar? There's a lot of reasons why people conduct seminars. Number one, they already have customers. You already have customers. You want to embellish yourself with the customer so that customer begins to buy from you over and over and over again. So seminars are a great way to create that relationship, that bond. And so a lot of people do seminars to just create customer loyalty. But ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to talk about that. Now, everything we're talking about can be applied to that. But what we're going to talk about is seminars for profit. All right? Is everybody okay? Is that okay? Is it okay if we make a profit? We're not a non-profit organization. So we're going to go ahead and create seminars for profit. Now, there's a couple of basic concepts that we're going to be talking about with our time here together. We're going to be talking about front end. We're going to be talking about back end. We're going to be talking about units and product. I'm going to hopefully explain that through my presentation. If I don't, please write them down so that we can get together at one of the breaks and make sure we understand each other. But the basic concept is the front end. That's how the customer comes to you in a seminar. And that's usually the first seminar or the first exposure that we're going to have with this customer. If all you're doing is doing a seminar, for the front end, that's going to probably be your most expensive way to do business. Most of your money that's going to be made in the seminar business is going to come from future sales, i.e. the back end, okay? The next time that person buys from you. Because let's face it, folks, what do you think your greatest cost is in seminar marketing? There's a clue, by the way, in the title. Marketing. Marketing. Getting them in the room. Absolutely. Thanks. By the way, this is a live presentation for those of you in the room, so it's okay to answer back, all right? That's all right. That's okay. For those of you in video, if you're answering back, that's okay too. Feel free, okay? Somebody might look at you funny if they're passing the hallway, but yes, your most expensive expense is marketing, believe it or not, getting them in the room. So what you need to take a look at is, first of all, and we're going to talk about considerations, why do you want to get them in the room? You have an idea for a concept, a product, or a service, and you want to get that customer. So how many people right here in this room have a product or a service? Quick show of hands. A couple of you. What's your product or service? You're a hypnotherapist. Fantastic. Okay, you're not doing anything with me right now, are you? Okay, because I'm feeling a little lightheaded. No, she's a hypnotherapist, okay? Now, and your first name is? Vivian. Vivian is a hypnotherapist. So she might want to do a seminar, and by the way, does she have a product that creates a little bit of mystery or a little bit of excitement that people would pay? Would people pay money to be hypnotized, yes or no? These are easy questions, folks. They're going to get harder, okay? Yeah. I mean, there's people that do that all the time, right? I mean, you say, get hypnotized, and people are sitting there waiting in line, going there to pay their money to get hypnotized, aren't they? Now, they probably do that right now with you, but you have an office, right? So now, here's the reason why you might, Vivian, the reason why you might want to consider a seminar is because it's called leverage. It's called economies of scale. If you're paid an hourly rate, correct? You're paid an hourly rate. Well, if she can put 100 customers in a room, hypnotize them like that, all of you wake up, okay? If you can hypnotize them like that to do what you want to do, that's going to be a lot more effective than bringing them in one at a time, one at a time. You might be able to spend more time at the beach or with your family or whatever you're looking at doing. So who else here has a product? Product or service? Yeah.
Actually, a friend of mine who's an inventor, and he's invented this thing called a digitizer for carpal tunnel syndrome.
Okay, great. Okay, she's got a friend, and your name is?
Valerie Talbot.
Valerie, thank you for sharing. Valerie has got a friend who has a digitizer for carpal tunnel syndrome. Is carpal tunnel now all of you here for, to expand your internet knowledge, are we having problems with carpal tunnel? Yes. So what we're talking about is, yeah, there's a need for that. And there's going to be people that would come to a seminar to learn more about how they can fix that carpal tunnel syndrome, okay? And especially if he's selling a product, is he selling a product?
It's in tooling right now.
It's in tooling right now.
He's looking to work with investors.
Great. Okay. So $1 million idea, it would be to, first of all, do an offering to get investors to invest in that. A seminar could put that thing on the map, put that particular product on the map. Not only that, but the end user might be interested as well. Okay? Now, to give you an idea, those are all great. Now, if you're watching this tape or you're offering this tape for resale, there might be people watching or listening to this that have a product or service, and they're going to be thinking about how would a seminar fit into my particular business. And by the end of this series, if you pay attention, take notes, you're going to have a game plan or an action plan of how to be able to put your product and service into $1 billion industry called seminar marketing. Now, a little bit about how I got involved. What happened with me, ladies and gentlemen, is, as I told you, when I was doing those motivational seminars, that was great, but the problem was I didn't make a lot of money at it because it was set up like a franchise. Anybody know how a franchise is set up? You have to buy all your books and tapes from what? The franchisor, right? Or the franchisee, or SOAR, or whatever, something like that. I had to buy them from San Diego at a fixed cost. And then I could sell them for whatever I wanted, but I had some very fixed costs. I had fixed overhead. I had an office. I had telemarketers. I had people that were trying to help me build this business. Plus, I was going out there presenting. To make a long story short, I made a little bit of money. I lost a lot of money. And I'm going to give you a couple case studies of that business because I've come a long way since then. I got out of that business in 1993, but the things that I learned were invaluable because the people I met, the contacts I met, got me into the business that I'm in right now. It was actually in 1993 that I met an individual who introduced me into global seminar marketing. Global seminar marketing. That sounds like a fancy term, basically doing seminars all over the world. This individual had owned a time management company. Hey folks, does everybody here need a little bit more time? What do you think? So do you think there's a need for that? Yes, there is. And there are people that spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on planners. Some of you in this room have planners, right? And you want to manage your time. You're not going to get any more time, but there are some techniques on how to manage your time more effectively. And he had a seminar that promoted how to manage your time more effectively. Now, what do you think his back end was, by the way? Planners, very good. Fillers, because if you manage your time, you're using it. If you're using it, you have to keep on using it over and over. Do you use it daily? Isn't a situation isn't a perfect business to be in if you're selling something to someone that they're using your product or service on a daily basis? If you're carpal tunnel gentlemen, if they have to use that every time they're on a computer, by the way, our computer's going to be around for a little while, but we hope so, right? Probably. So they're going to have to use that. Then I would bet to guess that his product is going to do pretty well in the marketplace if it delivers what he can do. For Vivian, do you help people to reduce weight or stop smoking sensations or things like that? Well, you know, I mean, people are still, just say no, but they're not smoking. They're still smoking, or they want to lose weight. So chances are pretty good that you're going to be highly gainfully employed for a number of years to come. Same thing with this gentleman. He wanted to teach people how to increase their time management skills. And he said, Mark, I got a problem. I said, what's your problem? And by the way, his name was Mark too, so I don't want you to get confused, but I'm not trying to wake up, okay, put him into hypnosis, right? So his name was Mark. We'll call him Mark C. And Mark C said, Mark, I got a problem. I said, what's up? And he said, we're opening up Canada, and we need someone to go out there and sell our product. And I said, well, you know what? I'm sure, I've done presentations before, but I never asked people to make a decision within 30 minutes to an hour and a half. And folks, I got to tell you something. That's a whole different ballgame. If all you're out here doing is getting information on how to do informational seminars, those are easy. Okay, I could get up here and just give you information like I'm doing right now, but if I was saying, okay, now after this information's done, you need to make a decision. The decision is whether or not you're going to reach into your pocketbook or your wallet and sign a credit card slip. That's a whole different ballgame. That's what we're going to be talking about because, in essence, that's where your profit potential is so huge in this business. When you can gain that customer by a commitment of financial resources, and they're going to be, and we all heard this, right? A buyer is a buyer. Is a buyer is a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. They're going to continue to buy from you not just once but multiple times. And in essence, that's what we all want in our database, in our Rolodex. In our electronic databases, we want people that are going to buy from us over and over and over again. And so what I did is I went through Canada and I learned the trade of getting people to take action within a period of 30 minutes to an hour and a half. And I got hooked. That was a very addictive business for me because I realized that in one day I could make more than some people make in 2 months. And I thought, wow, I could leverage my time. But being a greedy person, I didn't leverage my time. I said, wow, I'll just go ahead and work 7 days a week. Just book me solid. I'll just go out. And so what I did is I just went out and out and out and out and out. And I just kept doing that. And I learned a lot. And I've done thousands of presentations to hundreds of thousands of people, and I've made a good living doing that. And what I'm going to share with you is the best of what I have and the specific strategies of how to fill a room so that you can do it, your customers can do it, or whoever you're marketing this video to, or if you're watching this video or listening to this tape, you can do it too. Does that sound pretty good, yes or no? Yes, great. So some of you are responding very well. That's nice. Okay. All right. I got to take a breath here, Dave. Okay. Let's see. Let's get into. I'm gonna go to this for a couple things too. Okay. I'm gonna go into how to market a seminar. And okay, we're back again, and we are going to talk about how to market a seminar, and I call this how to fill a room. These are going to be the dynamics that you need to get people into a seat that are predisposed to hear your message. Predisposed to hear your message. Now, one of the key philosophies that I want to bring out here is the more you market, the more you make. The more you make, the more you make. The bottom line is it all has to do with marketing. So what you have to decide, we're going to talk about considerations, you have to decide what forms of marketing you're going to use, first of all, to get them in the room. Now, it obviously helps if you have a concept or an idea, or your customer has a concept or an idea. So let's go ahead and talk about, first of all, methods to get them in the room. Now, for some of you that are watching this, you're going to say, geez, I already figured that out. I don't really need this guy to tell me that. But what we're going to talk about are specific techniques using these methods to get people in the room. Folks, if it was easy and simple, obviously everybody would be doing it. Some of the things I'm going to talk about are easier than others, and there are certain tricks of the trade that you're going to learn if you're listening to this audio or watching this video that will make it easier for you not to make the same mistakes. Okay? How many people have ever heard about leveraging yourself by using OPM? OPM stands for other people's money, right? Everybody wants to use other people's money. Well, how about OPE, other people's experience? Other people's experience. So what we're going to use is we're going to use a thing called OPE. OPE is other people's experience. So let's talk about the methods. There's basically five methods that I've used to get people in the room. Now, are there only 5 methods? No. I'm going to go over the 5 methods that I've used. Some of you that are listening to this tape or watching the video or are here in the audience, you're going to come up with more methods. So feel free to add these to your notes. Obviously, what do you this is a live participation. Folks, what do you think, and this is in no order of priority, but what's a method to get people predisposed into a seminar? Right, TV, okay? TV is one. What's another form? Direct mail. Direct mail. Direct mail. That's right. What's another one? Newspaper, I call that print. Very nice. Print or ads, newspaper. Yes, what else? I'm sorry? The internet. That's not one of my 5, but I'm going to go ahead and add up a 6th, the internet. The internet, is the internet a growing business? Yes. Are there people going to the internet for information? Absolutely. So the internet is one. So for those of you that came up with internet, that's a bonus number. That's not on my number, but that's fine. Number 4? Radio. I'm sorry? Telemarketing. Yes. Telemarketing. And what else? Radio. Yes, radio. Radio. Okay. Now, what I want you to understand is these are the 5 ways to get people into a seminar. Now, by the way, is there a cost associated with marketing in these formats, in these media formats? Obviously, there is. So we're going to get into budget considerations, etc. Now, let's just talk about response rates. And by the way, all the information that I'm giving you is not something that I've thought up in a book. I've used literally every single one of these to try to get people into a room. Some of them work better for certain products and services than others, okay? Now, first of all, let's talk about the TV, all right? TV, since we're in a TV studio right now, TV is a very effective way of getting messages out. Those infomercials, how many people have watched an infomercial in the last 6 months? Quick show of hands. How many people have bought something on an infomercial? Okay, the rest of you lie about other things too, but 3 honest people, they have bought. What have you bought?
God, I brought a direct marketing seminar
He doesn't want to say it. He bought a Health Rider, and it's still in the corner, and he uses it.
Name the name.
That's all right. That's all right. He's not going to use his name. What have you bought?
I bought a for the car touch-up detail.
Touch-up detail. Great. What did you buy?
Cassettes for disco for my kids.
Cassettes for disco for her kids. Ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't for her kids. Take my word for it. She wanted to use it for herself. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, TV is a very effective way to get people in the room. Now, let's talk about costs. I'm just going to go ahead and give you some costs right here. And you might be able to get some cheaper costs, but the bottom line is if you're going to take a look at a standard infomercial, which is a very effective way, I mean, if someone is tuning into a station for 28 minutes, let's face it, that's why you bought. Now, let me ask one more question here since this is a live seminar. How many times did you watch that infomercial before you bought? Bingo! 7 to 10 times. Ladies and gentlemen, fact, this comes right from Nielsen. The average person that buys from an infomercial watches it at least 6 times. 6 times. Now, Tony Robbins, Personal Power. I happen to know this because I was a franchisee and I worked for this guy for 3 years. Most people that bought his Personal Power watched it 6 or 7 times before they put down the money. Now, and think about it, he's selling in an informational product, and it's got some intrinsic value, but he's talking about changing your life, not how to make more money. You're dealing with a marketing product that can actually put dollars in your pocket. You're dealing with a disco product that's totally for enjoyment. You're talking about a product that's going to enhance a car. So there's a number of different reasons why people buy. My point is, when you're talking about TV, folks, if you're going to go ahead and try to put together an infomercial, you take a look at anywhere from $10,000, I'm talking about production costs, $10,000, all the way up, the sky's the limit. But usually those infomercials that you see out there on real estate seminars, other types of informational or business operational seminars, they will run anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 in production costs, all the way up to $25,000 or $30,000 in production costs. $25,000 to $30,000 in production costs. Now, for some of you that are watching that saying, well, I'm out of the game on that one. You know what? $30,000 is way out of my budget. Well, let me ask a question. What's your name, sir?
Jay.
I'm sorry?
Jay.
Jay. Jay, if you were going to invest $30,000 in production costs, but you absolutely knew by 3 seminars that you'd have your $30,000 back plus a profit of $10,000, would you do it? 6 times a week and twice on Sunday. Absolutely. Yeah, you would do that. So what you need to understand is, and we're going to talk about this when I go over, I got some bonus information for you that I just created called Gonzo's Immutable Laws of Successful Seminar Marketing. And one of my immutable laws is the numbers don't lie, they just tell the story. Done deal. Okay? It's an immutable law. The numbers are the numbers. All right? So when it comes to TV, you should take a look at, call it $20,000 of an expense if you're going to look at an infomercial. But let me ask you a question. Do you need to run a 28-minute infomercial to put a seminar in the room? Put a seminar? No, you could do a what? 30-second, 60-second, or a 2-minute spot. Okay? So those are going to be a less expensive way. You're not going to have to spend $20,000 to go ahead and do that. It's going to be a lot cheaper. Now, don't ask me, well, how much cheaper? It's just going to be a lot cheaper. Sometimes television stations, if you're buying time from them, they'll go ahead and throw their production cost in as well, and they'll actually produce it. Some of it's almost like a public service message, and it's like, don't miss the seminar occurring on, January 15th, such and such a time. Come to the location. Reserve your seat now. Call to reserve your seat. So what I want you to understand is TV is very effective mainly because it hits the masses. It hits the masses. Now, the second one, direct mail. How many people have done a direct mail campaign? Direct mail campaign. What have you sold, Neil, on direct mail?
Very little.
Very little. Okay, were you selling a product or a service? You were selling a product, okay. Can direct mail be an expensive way? I will tell you right now, folks, that in my experience in seminar marketing, direct mail is the most expensive way to get people in the room. And I will also tell you this, out of the other side of my mouth, they are the most qualified people, the most qualified people that will come to your seminar. If you can get your direct mail to work, and a lot of you in this room are direct mail entrepreneurs and infopreneurs, and you're very good at testing in your direct mail. You see, Neil, if you can design a direct mail letter, a sales letter, or a piece, let's face it, how did you get in this room? Direct mail. Right? So you bought it, and a number of other people like-minded bought it. A lot of people that aren't here bought a substandard package, right? They couldn't come to the event, but they wanted the books and the tapes and the information. So we know direct mail works. What we have to do is tweak, test, and dial it in so that the numbers make sense. But in the seminar business, whether it's a postcard, which costs you 20 cents, or bulk rate even cheaper to throw in the mail, whether it is a 12-page letter that indicates all of the benefits you're going to get by coming down to the seminar, whether it's a 1-day, 2-day, 3-day, or a 2-hour event. Whatever form of direct mail it is, I want you to understand there are companies out there that solely use direct mail as a form of getting people in the room, and the numbers work. Even though it is very expensive, it works. So when you start taking a look at the numbers, you're going to have to determine whether or not direct mail fits the mix. And by the way, for those of you as a bonus, I'm going to be going through 2 case studies. One that Dave alluded to earlier. I'm in fact on a plane here in 48 hours going up to New York City to actually do another seminar. This is the second test seminar that we're doing. It's a series of 3 seminars, and we haven't used direct mail. We used print and radio along with telemarketing. And I'm going to give you that case study as part of that series. And ladies and gentlemen, all I'm going to tell you is for a $30,000 budget, we're generating $600,000 in profit. How many people would like to know a little bit more about that one? Quick show of hands. Everybody's going, when are we going to get to that? Okay? We're going to get to that. I'm going to go ahead and line out the case. I'm going to show you exactly what we did. I'm going to share the numbers with you. I'm going to talk to you specifically. I'm going to show you the pieces and everything. And it's working. In fact, in 48 hours, I'm going to be up there. So it's pretty exciting. Okay. So direct mail is definitely an effective way, a form of media to get people in the room. You just need to evaluate how much you're going to be testing, et cetera, whether you're going to be doing postcards, whether you're going to be doing letters, et cetera. And for those of you that are saying, okay, but how do I write a letter? Make sure you get in touch with the person who gave you this tape. I'm sure that they have another product that can show you how to generate effective sales letters. And Dave, I know that you've got those as well, correct? Yeah, we've got lots of products out there to teach people how to write effective letters. The purpose in doing this program right now is not to make you an expert in TV marketing, direct mail, print, telemarketing, radio, or internet. It's to interface this with the power of seminar marketing, and then it's up to you to go out there and search out the best form that you can use. Okay, direct mail. The other thing I want to talk about is print. Someone mentioned print. And print is an effective way to get people in the room. How many people have seen ads advertising a seminar, whether it was been a free seminar or a paid seminar in the newspaper? Anybody seen that? What did you see, Vivian? What kind of seminar was it?
Well, actually, as we left town, there was one on telemarketing.
One on telemarketing, how to set up a telemarketing business, okay? So, yeah, there's a lot of print that's out there. This is, by the way, also an expensive way to get people in a room. But the nice thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, is this. We all agree that if you're going to go out there and market to do a seminar, the first time you're up at bat, you might not hit a home run. You might strike out. You might hit a single, a double. You might hit a what? Touchdown. No, that's football. Thank you for playing. But no, you might hit a homer. You might hit a grand slam. For those of you in our viewing audience, you had to be here, but yeah, no, not a touchdown, but right. You hit single, double, right? Bottom line is, the nice thing about print and the nice thing about direct mail is you can change your what? Your copy. You can change your headline. You can change your offer, and you can do it pretty quickly. Especially with print, you can do it very quickly, can't you? You can just call the newspaper up and say, instead of offering $10 with a free coupon or this and that, change the copy to say this, or change the headline to say this. So the reason why in seminar marketing print is used very effectively is because you can change the copy pretty quickly. All right? Now, telemarketing. Telemarketing, in terms of seminar marketing, is mainly used to follow up with existing customers. You see, if you already have existing customers out there, guess what? Do you already have people that are predisposed to hear your message? What do you think? Great. Contact all your existing customers and say, hey, I got good news. I'm doing a seminar next week. And you know what? I usually charge $20 or $15 or $100 or whatever you charge for your service or the seminar. When we get into pricing, you'll know that. But you know what? If you call me before such and such a time, I'm throwing in a free ticket for you because you're an existing customer. And a customer says, wow, that's really nice. I got a free ticket. Or just call this number and tell them you're a customer and they'll take care of it. Oh, great. Fantastic. Oh, and by the way, if you bring a friend, you see, a lot of what I'm saying here, you're going, wow, this is all starting to make sense. I've heard this, I've read about this, you know, all this kind of stuff, induce reciprocation, you know, create a risk reversal, and if you don't like it, you can get your money back too. The person goes, wow, this is great. I can spend 2 or 3 hours soaking in all this information. Are people hungry for information, yes or no? Obviously, that's the reason why you're here. That's the reason why people go to seminars. So give it to them, but make it easy for them to get into a room. So, you know, we're going to talk about, when we talk about registration, you got to offer them all kinds of ways to get in. You got to offer them, obviously, they can get in through the internet, they can email it, they can fax it, they can call it in on an 800 number, they can use voicemail, all right? So they can register in a number of different ways. They can, all right, so let's talk about telemarketing. Telemarketing is mainly used, folks, to follow up with people that have registered via print or direct mail or TV or radio. So telemarketing is an effective way. But write this down in your notes. This is what I call bonus information, okay? Telemarketing is used to tie down the registration, to tie down the sale. You see, what will happen, Jay, is, well, folks, I got good news and bad news. What do you want first? Bad. Everybody says bad news, all right? Because most people are pessimistic. That's why, okay? No, just kidding. I'll give you the bad news. The bad news is that not everybody is going to show up that registered for the seminar. 100 people are going to say, yeah, I'm going to be there. But you know what? Not all of them are going to show up. The good news, you want the good news? Some of them will. Okay? Some of them will. So a lot of you are saying, okay, that's great, Mark, but how many will? Well, folks, you know what? That's what I call a mystery of the mind. I don't know how many. I don't know. I can tell you that in my experience over 8 years, it's been as low as 25%, and it's been as high as 80%. Meaning 20%, on the best case scenario, 20% didn't show. And some of you are going to say, Mark, is that after they've even paid? Yes, Jay, that's even after they've paid. Why? It's a mystery of the mind. I don't know why they don't show up, but they don't. Some people do, and some people don't. These questions, I told you, they're going to get harder, folks, okay? Some people don't. Okay, so telemarketing, what that does is it really nails down the registration. The other thing is radio. Radio, and I just want you to know, for all you, radio people out there, or people that use radio, or for all you, radio salespeople out there, I have never been a big user of radio to get people in the room. However, as I say that, I'm learning some things about radio. Radio is an effective way if it is used properly. And the case study that I'm going to give you a little bit later on really used radio a lot heavier than I would have felt comfortable using radio in terms of dollars spent, and we got a phenomenal response. So each one of these is a very effective way if used correctly. Radio is nice here again because you can change the copy or change your message, so it's easy to test with. It's usually very impulse oriented. One of the things I'll give you as a bonus on radio that's very useful is the number that you give people to call, especially in radio. It's more important in radio than anything else. Somewhat in TV, but depends on how many times you're running it. With radio, if you can get what they call a vanity number, does anybody know what a vanity number is? People, I can hear, if you're on your video, I can hear you. That's okay, okay? I can hear you, you're shouting back, that's fine. A vanity number is a phrase, whether it be 1-800-REAL-ESTATE, or 888-TAX-LIEN, or 888-FORECLOSURE, okay? Or 888-TAX-SALE. And for those of you that are wondering, if you can get those numbers, those are mine, okay? And Dave's, but, you know, hey, what the heck, a little self-promotion never hurts. Or 1-800-MONEY-OK. Would that, folks, 1-800-MONEY-OK, would that be a great vanity number to use in your advertising if, let's say, you were selling money? Great one, right? Okay, that's a good one. All right, some of these jokes you'll get after the seminar. It's okay. Drive it home. Listen, so vanity numbers are strong with radio, very strong with radio, and radio is a very effective way. And I wouldn't have said that if I was doing this seminar 2 months ago, just because of my recent experience last month, I would have told you radio is okay, but don't waste a lot of time with it. All right. Internet is also a very effective way because it operates 24 hours a day. You don't have to be around, and there are seminar companies that are now finally starting to use the internet as a form of registration. Although it is not as large in terms of a response rate as these other ones, it is growing quickly. It is growing quickly. In fact, I was reading an article about the internet. It says that it's doubling. Where was Tony at? Tony. How fast is the internet doubling right now? How fast is the internet doubling right now? Something in business and commerce. It's like twice every 13 days or something. It's doubling every 13 days in dollar sales. In dollar sales, so it's a monster, and it's on a train on a track. And I personally have never used the internet, but I am looking into it now with Dave to get people to respond on the internet via websites and links to other sites to get them, if they want more information, to register for a seminar. How many people right now are using the internet to market? Quick show of hands. Okay, Dave. Okay, so after watching some of these other tapes, most of you will be involved in internet marketing. But Dave, I think you'll agree that if you had an offer on your website to come to a seminar in your local area just by clicking, registering, and whatever, people would do that, wouldn't they? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now, so these are the 6 methods of getting people in the room. TV, I will tell you, hits the masses. It's also the most expensive. So what I always shoot for, if I'm starting out in a campaign with somebody, and you'll hear this as I reveal this case study with my friend Eric, and he says, Mark, I want to do a seminar. How do we get started? The question is, how much money do you have to market? That's what it really comes down to. It's always going to come down to how much money you have to market, depending on how many dollars you have to market. And by the way, you can conduct a seminar. Can you do a test for a few $100s, yes or no? Absolutely. In fact, that's what I suggest you do. Before you start spending thousands of dollars on marketing, all right, or before you drop a bunch of money in direct mail, do a little test. Throw out a couple hundred or whatever size test you're going to do, and define what your success ratio is going to be. So these are methods: TV, direct mail, print, telemarketing, radio, and internet. Okay. Now, all right. Let's see. Okay. The ideal combination is to combine more than one method. So if you're taking a look at marketing a seminar, you just don't want to use just TV. You don't want to use just direct mail. You want to combine one or more, direct mail and radio, or radio and print, or TV and print. And that's because we've heard this a million times, but repetition is the mother of skill, so I'll say it again. Frequency, recency, potency. Say that 5 times. Frequency, recency, potency. That's not a new kind of breakfast cereal, okay? Frequency, how many times you run your ad. If someone sees it on TV, you might see that on TV, you might get something in the mail from them, and you know what, you might hear it on the radio. How many times did you buy? You had to hear that 7 times. 7 times before you bought. Some of you had to see something or see a flyer 6 times before you bought. So frequency, recency, the recency of it. Like radio is extremely impulsive. TV is extremely impulsive. If I said, ladies and gentlemen, in the next 30 seconds, I am going to give you a phone number that will put you in touch with people who are going to line your pockets with wads of cash, and run right now to get a pen and a paper so that you can write this number down quick. Psst, everybody would be like, wow, hey, where's the number, right? So it's potency in terms of when the message is coming in. And so that you want to be able to be aware of that, to be and to be able to put more than one together. Okay. Let's see. Okay, considerations. Let's go over some of the considerations to seminar marketing. First of all, the biggest consideration in seminar marketing is budget. How much money do you have to spend? How much money do you have to spend? Now, let me also give you another way to take a look at this, folks. It's not how much money you have to spend. It's how much money that seminar is going to generate. And let me walk you through an example, okay? Vivian's a hypnotherapist. Vivian, what do you charge for your product or service?
$55 per session.
Okay. Vivian charges $55 per session. What types of marketing do you currently use? I'm sure you get them in the room somehow, into your office.
Actually, right now I'm just using word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Is that, by the way, is that a cheap way to market? It is the cheapest way, okay? It is the cheapest way. As long as she has mouths talking about her, that's great. And do you, by the way, Vivian's a hypnotherapist. Do you think that while they're in their trance state, their hypno state, that she's not giving them subliminal advertising messages so that when they leave there? What's everybody laughing about? Okay, you don't think that she's doing that so that when they're saying, hey, how are you doing? They're giving her phone number, 813 ba 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 ba. I'm sorry to give away your secret, but so she charges $55, right? Well, if Vivian was going to do a seminar, the question I'd want to know is, if I was consulting her, would be, Vivian, your budget's going to be tied to how many people, if you're going to keep that $55 price point, how many people you're going to get via that seminar. In other words, using an example, if you're doing a seminar for 100 people, and out of that 100 people, she's able to pick up 50 new clients. 50 new clients. If she doesn't change her price, if she keeps, I'm going to use $50 to keep my numbers simple, okay? Let's say she gives a $5 discount, whoopee, all right? But because she's a good presenter and she's got a great offer, people feel the need to take action immediately. Maybe she uses a demonstration on stage. You guys have seen something like that, where come down, learn how to be hypnotized and whatever, and she brings somebody up on stage and everybody in the room goes, wow, that's great, and I want to do that too. Well, I'm glad you asked, because if you sign up tonight, instead of charging you the normal rate, I'm going to charge you a reduced rate. And let's say that rate is, instead of $55, it's $50. And let's say only 50 people say, you know what, I want to do that. The other 50 people, they're just going to leave and they're not going to take action. Well, 50 times 50, who's got a calculator? How much is that? $2,500. $2,500 cash in the door that night. Okay? So, folks, it's real simple. If I was looking at it with Vivian, I said, well, Vivian, if we can get 100 people in the room, and we can get 50 of them to close at a $50 price point, $2,500 cash, which means now Vivian's feeling a little bit better. She says, well, okay, if I was going to run several newspaper ads or radio ads, or my budget was whatever, or I'm going to do 4 seminars a month in surrounding cities, and this is going to be my number. Well, 4 times 2,500 is, right? That's $10,000. That means Vivian can realistically say, you know what? If I'm going to hit this thing for 30 days, and I'm going to be willing to commit to 4 seminars, I can really realistically afford a $10,000 budget. Everybody following this logic? Right? So she could afford $10,000. That would be her break-even point. Okay? That would be her break-even. So when a lot of people look at these, and you're going to see some of the numbers, you're going to understand what I'm talking about when I talk about budget. But that's a consideration. You want to know how much money you're going to be able to throw at this thing, whether it's marketing. Neil, if you're going to do direct mail, we all know the numbers, depending on how sophisticated your piece might be. It might be a postcard that might cost you less than 20 cents. It could be a 12-page sales letter that costs you $1 in the mail. I know a seminar individual right now who's retired, but for the last 8 years, all he did 3 times a month is a seminar. He got them in the room specifically using direct mail, and he would drop anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 pieces of mail per week. Using $1, that means he was spending or marketing $10,000 to $100,000 per week. He was getting them in the room, and we're going to be talking about some of these formulas at a very good per head cost. And he was closing only about 20%. So he wasn't closing 50% of the audience, and he was still making money. Why was he making money? Simple. He wasn't charging $55. He was charging $500. So one of the things that's going to affect your budget consideration is, what is your product, what is your service, and how much do you charge? Now let me give you Gonzo's bonus qualifier, okay? This is a bonus qualifier, all right? When you evaluate your product or service, you might want to charge more at the seminar. You see, this is a whole different form of marketing for most of you that are watching or listening to this tape or in here in this room. Is there anybody in this room, other than Jack, because I know Jack has, is there anybody in this room that has actually conducted a seminar? So other than myself and Dave, no, and Jack. So my point is that when you're taking a look at this, you might actually charge $50 in another venue, but in a seminar format, you could actually charge more. Or less. It really all depends. It depends on how many people are going to show up to hear the message. So the first consideration is budget. The second consideration, and this is a very important one, is called audience. Who is your target audience? Who is your target audience? Valerie mentioned carpal tunnel, okay? There's a very specific target audience, someone who wants to lose weight or or change their life or has a phobia or something. That's a target audience. By the way, are there a lot of dysfunctional people out there? What do you think? If you're watching this video right now, chances are you are dysfunctional. Okay. What business are you in?
Banking.
Banking. Okay. Is there a need? Is there a need for what he has? What does he have? Money. Okay. So will be a chance for you to put your number in later to have people call you. Okay. But who your audience is. Obviously, if you're in the banking business, you might not want to talk to everybody. You might want to do a seminar for people that make a certain amount of income level. You only want to talk to people that make $100,000 or more, or $100,000 or less, or people that want to buy a home, or people that already have an existing home. You follow my source here. So audience is definitely consideration when you're starting to take a look at seminar marketing. Obviously, you want to know who your audience is and what audience you're going after. The other consideration in seminar marketing is I call it media buyer. For most people that are watching this, I don't know what your level of expertise is in buying media, but there is an expertise in buying media. If Jay goes out and you've never bought media before and you're going to go ahead and run an ad in the local paper, there's a certain rate schedule that they're going to use for you versus a media buyer. That can be an advertising agency that's in your local area, somebody who buys a lot of time, whether it's on TV or radio. They're going to get a better deal. Now, yes, you're going to pay them a commission, but what you need to evaluate, if you're spending $10,000, $20,000, and this is going to be part of your new way to market and attract customers is by doing seminars, and you're going to be spending $10,000 or $20,000 a month, or even $5,000 a month, it might be worthwhile for you to search out a media buyer or broker that you can develop a relationship with, and even with a small amount of money, they're going to be able to save you money long term. So that's a consideration. If you go out there and do it yourself, you might be paying too much. And when it comes to marketing, you want to make sure you get the most bang for your buck. Especially, so that's why I put media buyer as a consideration. If you're going to do it yourself, make sure that you have several conversations with people. For those people that, now by the way, for those of you that are thinking, I'm going to start locally, expand regionally, and go nationally, is that a possibility doing seminars, yes or no? Okay, absolutely, it is. Once you've developed a cookie cutter that makes a cookie here in Sarasota, you can take it to Orlando, Miami, right, Jacksonville, and then you can take it up to Atlanta, Boston, Syracuse, New York, Rochester, Albany, Buffalo, Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, California, and you can go nationally. And by the way, is that the only place you can stop? No, because the internet allows what? Global access. So can you go to Canada? That's where I started my career, in Canada, right? You can go to Canada. There's provinces over there. They talk a little funny, okay, if you're Canadian. Some of my best friends are Canadian, okay? Are you Canadian? A. Yeah, that's what I say. It's A. It's A. Valerie's Canadian. Where are you from, Valerie?
Actually, I grew up near Toronto, but I was in Edmonton for 6 years.
Edmonton. I've been there. Very nice mall up there.
Yes, big.
Okay, very nice mall. Okay. See how I quickly got her on my side again? That's a technique we're going to go over later in the seminar, okay? Some of you think I have this rehearsed. This is live, folks, okay? Media buy, okay, that's a consideration. The other thing I want to go over on a consideration standpoint is testing. I'm not going to belabor this because you wouldn't be here if you're an entrepreneur, infopreneur. Testing is a consideration. Don't ever get tricked into the idea that you think that what you have can't be refined, because it can. And if you want to visit the seminar graveyard, all right, there are a lot of headstones on there with names of people that were in the seminar business. JW, we're not mentioning any names, we know them, right? They're out there, and they were doing big business in seminars, and you know what? They're not around anymore because they didn't change their message. I think can I use a name? Is that okay? How many people remember a little man on TV, okay? He didn't speak English too good. He was big in real estate in the 80s. People came to his seminars in droves. Thousands of people pulled out American Express, Visa, cash, check, credit, I mean, all kinds of payment. The guy was making this was in the 80s when the seminar business was in its infancy, in its baby stage. He was making millions of dollars every single day. He didn't even understand what back end was, okay? He didn't understand. All he knew was front end, front end, front end. And this guy came from this country with nothing but the shirt on my back, okay? Does anybody know who that guy was? He's in the seminar graveyard. Very good. Tom Vu, okay? Yes, Tom Vu. Remember that guy? How many people remember that guy? Where is he? He's in the seminar graveyard. He didn't test. He used one form of advertising, TV. That's it. That's all he used. And you know what? He never changed his message. What was his message? His message was, if you come to my seminar, your next step is going to be on my boat with all my beautiful women. And ladies, we know that those women weren't real, right? Well, the ladies are going, yeah, we know they weren't real. But yeah, but you know, so he didn't change his message. He didn't test, okay? So step number 4 is definitely test. The other consideration you need to really find out in the seminar business, and I was kind of leading into that with Vivian, is break even. What is your break even point? That's a big consideration. When do you start making money? And the other thing you need to understand about the seminar business is, are you going to make money on the front end, or are you going to make all your money on the back end? See, how many people in this room would be willing to lose money on the front end if you knew you were going to make it on the back end? Right? Everybody. Absolutely. Everybody would, you know, because it's a matter of, you talk about filling the pipeline. It's about filling that pipeline, getting as many customers as possible in your pipeline, because you know you're going to make money not in the immediate present, but you're going to make money a week, a month, referrals, etc. They're going to buy from you over and over and over again. They're going to buy the second level, third level, fourth level package. Okay? So what you have to decide, though, is what is your break-even point? That's very important to know. Very important to know. So these are 5 considerations. Budget, obviously how much money. Audience, who is your target? Media buyer, whether you're going to do it yourself or whether you're going to get a professional to do it. Testing, always be testing. Always be testing. And what is your break-even point? Okay.